Yes, a late night live inspired by Josh Galt, and I think he's here with us right now. But good to see you guys, or you at least, Josh, watching. It shows 0, but I know someone's out there. Guys, I've just been so busy. Been busy buying pallets. I was suspended from the place that I buy pallets from. Had to talk to someone and let them know I screwed up, and I didn't know I won a pallet. They went in and gave me the band hammer, and I had to talk to someone to let them know I don't do that kind of thing. They had to check my account, and I bought 3 pallets since. So I'll be picking those up next week. So it's just been very, very busy. Been doing just a lot of the things, and just getting a lot of mixed results. I don't know about you guys, but dealing with yesterday a $200 day. 2 days ago a $200 day. Yesterday about 800, and then today like 250. And I mean, we still got a few hours left in the day, so I might get some late sales coming in. But yeah, guys, it's just been just that. It's just, for me, it's just everything is secondary. eBay is first. No, of course, family's first. But as far as the things that I do throughout the day, eBay is first before YouTube and all that. And I've been wanting to get some content out, but it's just not in the cards. Hasn't been in the cards. And I thought, you know what? I'm out in the garage working, and I said, you know what? Instead of getting another couple items listed, because it takes me a little longer to get the large items listed, decided to say, let's come on in here and just talk to you guys. I don't know who's going to show up, but it's amazing, like Josh says, that there's a number of you guys out there that are working all the time, and you can look at some still pre-recorded content, I guess, but it's kind of nice to be able to work to a live stream. So something that I like to do, I need to do more of, but just so busy, guys. You guys know that I've been trying to work with the garage, getting the heat down in the garage, and I put in some insulation. It seems to be helping a little bit, but for the effort that I put into that, it took me, because I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I got it in there just fine. It took me about 3 or 4 hours to get it done, because I'm working around racks and all this stuff. I have maximized the space in that garage, and I'm not sure if it was worth the time that I spent the last couple days getting it done, but it's still warm in that garage. What can I say? So taking a break to talk to you guys, probably for about an hour, depending on how the conversation goes. Josh says it takes 30 seconds for the chat to start. Not quite sure. Semper Fi is with us. Thanks for being here, Semper Fi. Wiggy Q says, hey, thanks for being here, Wiggy Q. And I see you're a member. Thanks for being a member. Josh is dead today. Sales aren't great. I'm getting a lot of returns on both accounts. And I'm getting returns that are somewhat questionable. And, it's a judgment call. So one return, I sent 3 gaming headsets. None of them worked. 2 of them were missing dongles. So they're wireless gaming headsets. One was Corsair, the other one was HyperX. And I'm not quite sure about the third brand, but if it was in new condition, the thing was worth quite a bit. And I sold all of them for like $50 plus shipping as parts or repair. And the guy said, well, you put the wrong model number in the listing, which, come on, it's for one of the headsets, which to me was kind of ticky-tack. But I know what happened. The guy ordered it, didn't work. Like I said, it didn't work. And decided to find anything they can to open a return. Well, I accepted the return. What can I do? You can't, anytime someone opens a 9-ad or missing pieces or arrived damaged, you have to accept the return. And I did so. And I had a broken so the USB side was broken. And I just threw it in the box. Anyway, I had a photo of it in the pictures that I presented. And he didn't return that. Now, I guess the buyer was ticky-tack in opening the return. I guess I could have played the same game. I just gave him their refund. But maybe I shouldn't have. What would you guys do? it's not trying to look for any excuse you can to keep money from a buyer. That's the wrong way to look at it. But I really feel like buyers they don't care, and they're not expected to care. They can throw your item in the box without any kind of packaging. It gets back to you. You could have internal components banged up. You'll never know. And you have to accept the return and give them a full refund. I've never been a fan of, this one-sided relationship. It seems like that. And I get part of it, right? Because we want to cater somewhat to the buyers, but to let buyers just do whatever they want. I just have a big problem with that. Don't know what you guys think or how you feel about that, but we're getting returns. And you send something out to someone and you inspect the item. It's in fine condition. Like I had this auto part that I sent the buyer, and I get it. Oh, they open a return saying that one of the parts, one of the metal parts that's attached to it is loose. It wasn't like that when I shipped it, but who knows? Could have been done en route, even though we bubble wrap the heck out of it. I mean, that's not going to prevent every damage possibility. But what do you do when someone says that there's a problem? You're going to stand your ground and claim that the buyer broke it. This was a Hyundai Sonata left driver side window regulator with motor. And there was nothing wrong with this thing. It was in great condition. All the photos are my own. I'm looking for this piece that could have been broken. And for me, it's just tough to see, unless, a buyer may have gone in and tried to install it. They bent something the wrong way. And then, of course, they blame the seller, right? So it is what it is. It's part of doing business, I guess. We say that all the time. Coppercat's with us. Is perfect timing. I was scrolling when this pops up. We're glad that you're here with us and hanging out. Again, I just wanted to do this impromptu live because wanted to break from the monotony, and I wanted to kind of see what you guys are up to be honest with you. I was talking with Josh and Beard. I know Beard's out there. I don't know if he's back yet. If he's back from doing his yard sales. He was doing some yard sales from what I understand today. And I don't know if he went to the 127 or not. For those of you who don't know what the 127 is, it's a yard sale that spans from Michigan all the way down to, I think, Alabama. And, all the towns in between. It's like a big, big event. And it was something that I was going to go to this year. Archie and I were talking about it. At what point we were talking about it last year. And we decided that it wasn't in the cards. I know he was going to go with the locker room guys. And I guess that fell through as well. But I'd like to get out there. Not so big nowadays into yard sales because of A, the weather, and B, just the sourcing that I'm getting. I mean, I have so much stuff in my garage right now. It's just, Jenna was asking me why I bought 3 more pallets I'm picking up next week, because we just have so much room to work with. And what I told her is, I said that I still have like 5 days to get those things listed and cleared out. And we're making decent sales. So, you get it, you vet the item, you make sure it works, make sure it's going to be sellable, you list it, and you hope that the other stuff starts to sell and it creates room for the other stuff that's coming in. And that's been my pattern. And so far, I haven't needed to expand. I mean, we have these toilet seats are starting to go. I've sold about 4 of them now. One person sent me a message, and this is the other part of dealing with customers. Don't know what you guys think about this. Dealing with customers, you send them an item that's brand new. This is factory sealed. All the units we bought are factory sealed. And they come with a little pan. So it slides in and out on the underside of the seat. So you need to go, you got to go, you can go. And they claim that theirs didn't come with the pan. Now I'm wondering if someone had a bad accident in the pan and they needed another one. I don't know. But they're claiming that the thing didn't come with a pan. So what do? I had to make a decision that I was going to break up the set, and in breaking up the set, we're losing $6. I mean, what do you do? $6 plus the cost of shipping. That's like $12. They're in California. It's a very light plastic pan. Even when it's boxed, it's not going to cost a whole lot to ship. So, you got to do little things like that. Deal with bad returns. That's kind of what we're dealing with. Love to get to a place where, you're getting only a return here and a return there, but it seems like every week we're getting like 3 or 4 returns. So it's quite a mess, but you just got to grin and bear it. Gail's with us. Thanks for being here, Gail, and thank you for being a member of the channel. Henri Squaw, howdy, you got volleyball on the TV? Yeah, I'm assuming you're watching Volleyball Olympics. I'm not watching the Olympics. I'm not really happy about a few things with the Olympics. I don't want this to go down that road, but I just saw a woman get beat up by a man today, and I didn't like that so much. Flip It Good says, hi, John. Thanks for being here. Simplify 1918, sales slow, but made my minimum goal as usual. Keep on rolling. That's the thing. Got to keep going and, create a goal for yourself. Now, for me, that goal has been like $500. Now, up until about a year ago, that was sustainable, right? Before that, I was about $250 a day in sales. And for me, it wasn't cutting it. And what was happening is the money that I had in the bank that, it's like a nest egg, right? Over a 2-year period, because I didn't have such a boon with COVID like a lot of you guys did. And it was because the stuff that I was buying was just not very good. I was buying those mystery boxes, Amazon mystery boxes. And from, I'd say, 2020 to like the beginning of 2023, it was just bad. And, we still got to pay your bills. Still got to pay car payments. You got to pay credit cards. You got to pay utilities. And it wasn't covering all the money. And so we saw a deficit I watched that account, the balance just go down from about 40,000 to almost nothing in about a 2.5-year period. And it was very, very stressful. So for me, having a $500 goal back in 2020 was almost like a pipe dream. I almost felt like it wasn't attainable, but we tried different things, and that's what I'm saying is if you're really serious about making this work, really serious about doing this full time, with full-time income, you got to keep trying different things until you find that thing that works for you. And don't stop trying new things until you find that thing that you're satisfied with. Davey Boy Flip says, up at it as we speak to about 3 a.m., then up early for sales. So want to know, you guys being honest, because I'll be honest with you guys like I always am, at least I try to be. I am usually up anywhere from 10 to 14 hours a day just doing something for the business. And there's so many things. Anyone in this business that says, you know what, I'm bored, there's nothing to do, really isn't doing it right. I got to tell you, there's so many things that you could be doing, even if you have low inventory, low sales, there's something that you can do to improve what you have going on or to take care of the business side of things. I promise you, there's just not enough time in the day. And that's why I'm finding myself even still working 10 to 14 hours in a day. And honestly, I don't mind it. That's just the thing. I don't mind working, putting in the time. I enjoy it. It's weird. And because of that, time goes by like that. Now, I'm just curious, how many hours do you guys put in a day on average? Do you put only 5 days a week, take 2 days off? Do you work 6 days, maybe take 1? Are you working 70 hours a week like I am? And don't feel bad. Like Jenna's asking me just before I went live, she said, what are you doing? You just got through telling me that, there's just too much stuff to do and there's just not enough time in a day and you're going to go live, right? That doesn't have anything to do with the business. But sometimes you just need someone to talk to. Sometimes you need to take a break, right? And she's only going to listen to eBay talk so much. She's got her own little thing going on and focus going on the things that she likes. And not to say this is like the thing I like. I mean, because honestly, if you just said, look, you're a millionaire tomorrow, would you resell? I probably wouldn't. I would probably do a lot of things. We would be traveling, but if I was told, find a hobby, probably do golf when the weather allows it, and maybe do a lot of stuff on the computer, or maybe go play cards. I don't know. There's a lot of things. One thing you may or may not know about me is I tend to dip into a lot of different things, and I'm never really great at one thing, but I'm pretty good at a lot of things. And so there's so much to do. Watch people that used to work in Amtrak. They'd work their entire lives at the 9 to 5. And then it came time to retire. They retired and they ended up coming back to work because they just couldn't get through the day. There was just nothing to do. And for me, I'm the opposite. You give me a chance to leave this grind and tell me I'm financially secure, I will 100% be the last guy that says I'm bored or I have nothing to do, because I'm always able to find something to do. Jenna's with us. She's hanging out. I'm not sure if she's still doing her thing. Last time I saw, she was doing some TreeCat stuff. She was in there with the cross lister and getting stuff cross listed over to Posh and Mercari. Don't know if you guys are doing that or not. If you're watching after the fact, I'll put the link in for TreeCat if you're interested in checking it out. But it's definitely a game changer when you're doing the cross listing thing. Gail says, I'm not selling for a few days. I guess she's trying to say bad storm came through and no power. That's not good. Major Win, you and Josh Galt keep giving us all on our toes with the late night lives. Yeah, it's either this or I guess you can watch what's on Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, your choice. I'm not as funny, I guess, but maybe I'm a little bit more relevant. Hillbilly Mountain Picker says, hello, thanks for being here. Nice to see you. Let's see. Marco Carpio. Hey, John and everyone. Sorry I've been MIA. Too much work and the hurricane took a hit on me. Hope everyone's sales have been steady. I'd like to say, look, I am up 3% over last month. You guys know I was doing great last month. So I can't really complain about a lack of sales. Lack of consistency, yes. There is no reason in my mind why any seller, and this is happening to a lot of people, will sell, let's say in my case, $200 one day, $800 the next day, $200 the next day. Makes no sense to me. I have, we form our conclusions, right? There's nothing written anywhere where this is, but I do have a hunch, and I've had this for a while, that eBay will say, look, we're going to limit you to the number of sales that you're going to get so that you're not overwhelmed. And I guess it makes sense. They don't want sellers to get overwhelmed and not be able to deliver upon our promises, maybe forget to ship something or just do it in a crappy way where it arrives broken. They want us to do it right, and they want to ensure the buyer experience. And so I really believe that if you had one day decided to create a draft of 300 really nice items, let's say iPhones, and that was what you're selling, maybe you just had a great lot. This is something no one will ever get, by the way, but we'll just as a what if. And maybe you put great prices for those iPhones. You launch them all. I really don't think eBay is going to allow you to sell all 200, 250 items in the same day. Now, you're probably going to get a lot of sales, but I just really don't think eBay is going to do that and put your buyers in a position where they're going to be disappointed. But that's just my theory on that. But why is it inconsistent? That's the question that I have. So nice to see you, Marco Carpio, and hopefully you're not a stranger. One thing I want you guys to help me with, though, real quick. We did a giveaway, and I guess I'm going to have to go back and look. We did a giveaway and we had the Moist Flapjack shirt. I don't know if you guys recall that. Jenna had it sitting at her desk because we did give it away, but the person never emailed us with their information. So we were like waiting to mail this thing out. Saw it today and I said, "What's that doing here?" She said, "Well, they never got back to us." So anyone remember who won? So I don't have to go to the older lives and try to uncover it. But anyone who knows who won, if you can put that in the chat. If you are watching and you won, of course, I'll recognize the name. So don't just say you won. And it may be that if that person doesn't come forth and send an email to us, we're going to have to go in and just give it away again. It's a signed Moist Flapjack. And it's the strangest thing ever. I guess a viewer by the name of Moist Flapjack decided to have shirts made, sent me a signed shirt, and they have their own poly mailer that they have included in that. We kept the sticker. They sent us a nice little sticker. I don't have it with me. We put it up on our little board in the shipping room. And I thought it was a great gesture. But, since then, I haven't seen Moist Flapjack in forever. So, maybe he's watching these late night ones or he's on the rewatch crew. But love to hear from new people. Love to hear from people who maybe have had to step away from watching these videos, maybe watch it on the replay. But nice to hear and see new people. Designs Laura, hello, I'm late for the late night talk. Well, we didn't go as late as Josh did the other night. I just figured, how late is too late? I think he may have been right there on the cuff there of being a little too late. But it was amazing how many people actually watched that video. Big Dre's with us. Says hello, John, in chat. Nice to see you, Big Dre. I am very dehydrated. Been out in the garage and just doesn't seem like it. But when you're out there working, it's right now 100 degrees at 8:30 at night. No sun's beating down on you, but it's still hot, right? And it just zaps you. Hilton Page says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Hilton. Nice to see you. Gail will not be selling for a few days. I have enough merchandise right now. Now, you see this shark vacuum behind me. I haven't gotten to it yet, but there's about 5 or 6 pieces that need to be, what I need to do is I need to take each piece, figure out if it's sellable. So go through the parts. A lot of times you can pull up like the shark. That's a Navigator lift away vacuum. Go in, just do a search for that. Throw the word parts behind it. Hit the solds. See what is sold in the last 90 days. So then you start saying, okay, I can take the brush. I can take the canister. I can take the maybe the different compartments or whatever. And there's going to be a market for it. And that's maybe the motor unit as well. And that's kind of what I'm finding when I have a bunch of vacuums that I got in my last pallet. And even one that was in pretty good shape. It looked pretty close to new. But I started getting in there and I noticed that I could either sell it as a complete unit or I can break it up and make more. So that's kind of what we're doing. And it takes some time, especially if it's a used vacuum. I guess it's one of the worst things you can buy to resell, though. If you're into appliances and home gadgets and stuff like that, if you buy vacuums, it's kind of disgusting because you have to, in many cases, clean out the brush full of hair, nasty hair. Get in there and clean out the dust that's in the. A lot of the new vacuums don't come with bags anymore. They're just in the canisters, the little dust catchers. And you got to get in there and clean it up. And, it's no wonder while it may take 30 to 45 minutes for me to list an item because of all the things that I have to do. And I'm serious when I say that I'm in a war with eBay, and I say that in jest, but I'm at war with eBay as far as trying to get my account over 200 items because I'll get close to 200 or I get a little over 200 and boom, here comes the sales. Take me right down. That's kind of what happened this last weekend. I was at 200 went to California, had some items that were going to list. I scheduled a list, so I was maintaining at least. Normally when I go to California, it's like a couple days of not listing, but this time I had it covered and still came home with like 15 less than what I left with. I had 185, and we had a great sales weekend. Go figure. Major win. Love our tight-knit reseller community. Yes, we do love it. And let's see. Major win says our sales have been really good the past few days after several days of being almost zero. And I really believe strongly that, and you won't be able to convince me otherwise, that the time you spend in your account, including listing and maintaining your active listings, goes a long way in the algorithm to generate sales out of the blue. Even on my other account, really not listing a lot. A lot of these things, these vacuum cleaner parts, are really for that other account. And out of the blue, just getting a lot of items that have been sitting that sold the last few days. I think I had $150 day on that account, which is pretty good. So all in all, between the two accounts, about a $400 day. I can't complain. Henri Squaw said to report the buyer probably meant the one that sent back the headphones without the broken dongle. I figure it's a broken dongle, right? I mean, that's the most common thing that's missing from headphones is the dongle, but there's no saving this. It had so if I'm taking this piece here, it was bigger than this dongle here, but if I'm taking this piece here and pull off that metal covering, you're going to have the little gold connectors in there, and that's all that was exposed with this dongle that came with the headset. No one was using that. So I figured, you know what, this is the perfect case for being kind of petty. We don't like taking returns, and we know that's what the buyer did. The buyer bought, and I'm sure there's a lot of buyers out there that will buy a parts and repair item, right? You could say not tested, or I'm selling as if it doesn't work. And they get it, they try it, they confirm that, your parts and repair item is exactly as you said it was, not working, and they're going to send it back. And guess who has to pay for the return label? Well, not Beard, but you got to pay for it. What's going on?
I would have joined you earlier, but my mother called. I was telling her everything I bought today.
What did you buy today? Let us know.
The 127, the first day of the 127. It was awesome. I started in Gadsden, Alabama, which is the southern end. I made it 50 miles. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab I heard such bad things about last year. I'm like, I'm just gonna grab $500, see what happens. I had 100 or so with me. 3/4 way through, I had to stop and get more money. At an ATM in the middle and a gas station. Big buy was some cameras. So the guy who I met who does Whatnot had bought some cameras at an auction, and he had sold a bunch of them off. This is what he had left. Ended up being a Nikon D3100, a Nikon D330, which those are both. One of them's 350, one of them's 450. Couple Canons. Yeah, that was. I think I'm gonna get about $1,000 out of those cameras.
So what time do these yard sales on the 127 end? I mean, a lot of times I'll see a yard sale go from like 7 a.m. to like noon, right?
Yeah, they go from. They say they start at 8, but really most of them start at 7. Anywhere from 7 to between 4 and 5, they start wrapping up. Wow. And so I got there at 7:30, and I stopped at 4:30 because I was I was very close to the Alabama-Tennessee line, and if you're not familiar, Tennessee on that end of Tennessee rolls into the Eastern time zone, so it would have been 5:30. So it wouldn't have made any sense. So then most of them have been shut down. So I came home, but it was an hour and a half to get over there, and then, but it was. Did I see Uber does great Amazon highs? I don't know what that is. But it was you got to buy everything, folks. I bought everything from lancets for diabetic lancets. I don't know anything about nails. The lady was closing down her salon and she had a professional nail dryer. I bought a lot of all kinds of stuff. That stupid thing sells for a couple $100. She's like, "Mike, what do you want for it?" She goes, "You can have everything for $30." I'm like,
Wow.
$30.
Wow.
There's a label make. I bought an ID Pro label maker. Never seen one before, but for $50, I got the label maker and 30 boxes of labels. They're trying to sell the labels for $50 a box on Amazon, on eBay. I think they're a little high. I think 25 is probably right. But the label maker in 3 boxes just sold used for $210. I'm like, there's no way I didn't know anything about it. You just look it up. But you got to stay away from the tent cities and get. So have you ever done one of these long yard sales?
No, I'd love to. It sounds so fun.
So the way you have success is you're going down the road and you'll see signs pointing you off. You just chase signs the whole time. If you come to a big field with a bunch of vendors, you just need to keep going looking for, because if you want to go to a flea market, go to a flea market. If you want to go to yard sales, go to yard sale.
Okay.
And so I spent my time doing that. I got video game controllers. I got to make a video. I bought my wife a dog ramp at the yard sales. So she can't get in and out of the house hardly with her. So found one of those aluminum dog ramps.
Right.
Look up how much those damn things cost. They're $200. And
I those all the time. I pass them up in my liquidation lots.
Yeah, they're on eBay. They're $200. So it was $40, but we're going to use it to help her get down use it because she can't step on that foot. But if she can ride the scooter down, hold the brakes, and kind of use it as a step, help her, give her a little bit of getting in and out of the house. It was such a great day. I bought so much stuff.
So you're gonna go back tomorrow?
No.
I
got a doctor's appointment at 9:00. By the time we get done with that, and if I drove 2 hours plus lost an hour because I'd have to start in Tennessee, wouldn't make it.
Well, let's make a point to do maybe a meetup or something. I think that'd be a fun thing, wouldn't it? Maybe I'll fly down there. Have Jenna go with me. I'm sure she wants to go, and we'll do a couple days of yard sales and
we need to do that next year with the podcast meets up and have a bunch of people meet us up. It'd be a lot of fun.
I think that would be awesome. Who in the chat would be interested in doing something like that? I don't know how we would. Now, is it branched out? So when you get to the town, is it just based like off of the main drag, or can you go into town and find?
To me, I found it depends on where you're at. So if on the high end of it, when you get to these little towns, because it's just cornfields and little town cornfields. All these towns are just yard sales everywhere, and then you get back and go to the next one. And so that Ohio is a lot of fun. That end's a lot of fun.
Is there a website that maybe kind of goes into what the 127 yard sale?
I can't. I bought myself some a new pair of Brooks, or they're not new, but they're Amazon return Brooks. I think they're Ascadia 16s for $20. I called you out of my video, Kent. I bought some Vans shoes. I'm like, Kent would tell me to buy these. They're checkerboard Vans for $2.
Now,
even though they were stinky and smelly and you couldn't stand it.
Now they do have maps. So you were over by Aikens, Nicola Falls.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of curious. Fort Payne.
Yeah, I went through Fort Payne today.
Yeah. So there's maps of the route, I guess. So it is the actual 127.
So the southern end of it, where I was, it starts out as like the 160 Highway 168. Okay. I never saw a sign all day that said 127. It was so confusing.
It looks like Tennessee, Kentucky, and Michigan. Ohio, Michigan have 127, but not where you're at. That's so interesting. I mean, just massive. How many yard sales do you think make up the entire route? talking thousands, right?
I cover 50 miles a day. It's over 600 miles. You can't do the whole thing.
No. I'm just wondering. I'm blowing my mind here. How many yard sales do you think participate within this whole thing? We're talking about 20, 30,000 yard sales.
It's thousands.
That's amazing. That's such a cool thing. I wish they had that out here. But I'm going to make it a point to do it next year. My only thought is, if I fly out there, how do you get all that stuff back? You just got to concentrate on smalls then, right?
Ellen McDonald, where is Huntsville? I've never been there before. I live in Meridianville. I don't live in Huntsville.
Yeah, but that's like down the street, isn't it? Let's see. Who else do we have here with us?
Too many people in Huntsville.
Has anyone found a foolproof way to prevent buyer return scams? That cat looks like my childhood cat. What cat? I guess we're just looking at a cat from someone's profile.
So Fort Payne was hot, but I found my best stuff in the Fort Payne area.
Fort Payne, okay.
Yes, I found that to be true, John. As you go through these towns, as you come into these smaller towns, the country yard sales are cheaper, but you pay a little bit more for stuff in the little towns and the little areas. Like Fort Payne's a decent sized town on that part of the state,
right?
But you've got more people, so naturally they have different stuff.
Looks like Collinsville.
Somebody wants you to call out their son's birthday.
Let's see. Autismus Prime says, my son's birthday is today. You are his favorite channel. Can you say hello to him? His name is Nick. Oh boy. Are you serious? Wow. That's not happening.
Hey, we're smarter than that. And you got blocked. See
yeah.
So I did get recognized 5 times today, which is pretty cool.
Did you?
Yeah, I got recognized 5 times today. So I
recognized the golf course.
So the people that said hello, I appreciate you. You probably won't see this, but I appreciate you stopping me to say hello. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it has not happened to me in a while. It's like, okay, maybe people recognize me and they're like, well, that's just that guy. Who cares? And I don't care. It's like I'm just another guy anyway. But
I know some people were complaining that the prices are a little higher, but it's like anything else. You've got to have an open mind and what you're buying, and don't pigeonhole yourself. And and then understand that the vendors are there. It's like you're going to a flea market. If you're stopping at these big tent cities, I stopped at 5 or 6 of them, and I finally like, you know what? I'm just driving past them, and so. Baby. And I had a lot better success. You're supposed to let me come in here and play on the internet.
Let me get back to the Coconut Pete's question. There is no foolproof way to prevent buyer return scams. If someone wants to buy a $200 item from you and return a brick, then guess what? You're going to be able to deduct 50%, and you're not going to be able to do really anything about it, unfortunately. So
Dave had an interesting thing. I was talking to Dave today, and while I was wandering through yard sales, and he said he had two eBay sales where he sold one of his wholesale products, a bed liner product, and they complained that it didn't go on right or it didn't work right, and they sent him back in the same packaging multicolored rocks.
That's not right. Now, I do know, and eBay's told me this, that they will compare the weight of the package that was shipped versus the weight of the package that was sent back. And you can contact eBay. Yeah, you have your tool that you can utilize to get 50% refund. But, of course, you're probably going to need this for this to get escalated somewhere else above and beyond just a frontline rep. But they can do the research to try to figure out what the buyer sent back.
So Ellen, my wife broke her ankle 5 weeks ago, and she's non-weight bearing on her right ankle. So she got a doctor's appointment tomorrow that I need to take her to because she can't drive. because it's her right foot and she can't push the gas or do anything with it. And I'll be pushing around in a wheelchair. Would get her to the doctor's office and she's also probably going to have surgery on her elbow. She injured it at the same time, but they kind of ignored it until she started saying, "Hey, my elbow still hurts. What the hell?" And so I won't be making it tomorrow. I'm probably going to stay in Huntsville Saturday because our yard sales are so good in Huntsville. I don't think I need to drive 2 or 3 hours.
I got to tell you, when she gets through this, you're going to need to take her on a vacation. She's been going through quite a bit.
She's on vacation now. All she's doing is laying around.
Yeah. You know what? There's something about getting out of your house. It's a lot different than just sitting around. That's the kind of vacation I'm talking about. We're going to figure out going somewhere. I just got to figure out. I got to get past this whole situation with the animals. Just be willing to fork out the cash to have them stay at a doggy hotel or something while we're gone.
So Becky says that it runs to her town in Ohio. So Thursday and Friday are the best days because you have a lot of people that will be off work tomorrow doing yard sales tomorrow. So you'll have a lot of newer people who weren't out today. You'll have a bunch of the beginning stuff you'll catch on Thursday, and then Saturday to me is the worst day, but Thursday and Friday are really good days. So Becky, I hope you have a great luck out there.
So Big Dre's has a great wife. I guess got to be running the show. He had surgery today, so get some rest, get healed, and you know what? It'll be a little bit of time, and you'll be back to work. So major win comes for the toilet seats. Stay for the toilet humor. Well, that's tomorrow night, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow night for sure.
Clean out deals. I'm opening a second store on eBay and was wondering what is a good program for moving items from one store to another. Any thoughts will be appreciated. So that would be, in my mind, the first thing that I think of is Ink Frog.
That's really the only one I know that can do it, isn't it?
Yeah, TreeCat's working on it. So TreeCat's working on multiple accounts. So you have multiple accounts and all your library is going to be in one location. Maybe in about a month or two. Don't hold me to it, but they are working on that. And I told them it's going to be a big feature. I mean, there's people that pay like $30-$40 a month just to have Ink Frog. Now that Ink Frog does other things, but whenever I need to do that, and it's happened twice, I'll just pony up the $40 for the month and get the items moved over. It's going to save you a lot of time.
So Kent says you can use a CSV file. I'm not computer smart enough to do that, but
yeah, I'm not that great either with Excel. I would probably screw it up. Curious Collection, late night, love it, but can't grind 24/7. Had a great sale day today. Glad July is over. So bad. How was your July?
July.
Just talking eBay. I know you do well on Amazon.
Amazon's down. eBay's up.
Really? Because you haven't been out and about like you were, right?
Correct.
Let's see. Busy girl. Hi, John. Listening while working in the garden. I'm not watching Olympics at all. Too much BS. Did you see that? That man beat. It was really just one punch, and that the woman fighter said, "I'm out." Did you see that?
Yeah, I'm not watching any of that. I haven't watched the first minute of it.
I saw some clips on YouTube, and I'm like, wow. It's like you train all that time, and it's like you're up against Andre the Giant. It's just not right. 601 Roliz 3NP. Are you still doing Whatnot? I tried it, but not sure it's worth it. Going to keep trying, but lost a lot of my first shows. I'm fortunate. I got to tell you, I'm so fortunate. And many people won't say this out loud, but the fact that we have a channel, we have a following, great supporters, people who will get on here and even buy something they really don't care about just to support you. And it's so much harder when you don't have a following, and you can build a following and just keep going, right? So if I was in your shoes, didn't have a whole lot of people following me, I would feel somewhat discouraged. I'm sure I would feel the same way you do. But if you keep trying, just keep going, keep building at it, you're going to find that over time, you're going to make money with it. Beard, how come you haven't done it yet?
I still have time, with all the platforms and all the stuff I do, it's just adding another thing. It's just too much. And so I faced burnout for quite a while over the last few years, and and it was really from just trying to do everything and trying to do. And I truly believe if you do everything, if you can be a you can do a lot of things average, or you can do a few things better than average well. And so I really I wanted to concentrate, and I'm really concentrating even more on eBay because I don't like the direction Amazon is taking and some of the things they've been doing. You guys think eBay is terrible. I've never had a problem with eBay. I sell. I believe in the used market. I believe that stuff is going to continue to get outrageous and out of control, and that the used market is going to be prime for parts and those kind of things. So I'm taking myself on listening to my own words, and I'm trying to build that kind of stuff right now.
What's going on, Ken? Thanks for the super chat. Compliments of Miss Primo. Dun, 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 dun. There you go.
Surely they're not awake this late.
I don't. Well, that's Kent. I don't know if they are.
And Fam or
no, they're probably East Coast, 11 o'clock, almost midnight. No, I'm not watching YouTube that late at night. I give it up to you guys. I'm usually done watching YouTube by about 10 o'clock. I'm getting ready to.
But there were deals we had. I picked up a 6-inch lifetime maps Garmin with the window mount, everything for $3. It sells for $60. There was deals that, I mean, if you look like the cameras I bought, I picked up a couple of video games at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 2 Star Wars Legos. One was 5 and one was 7. They're both sealed. They're worth $25 and $30 each. I'm like, why are these still here?
I mean, how many resellers are out there on any given yard sale? 50-50?
I don't think there are as many. I'm telling you, the yard sales in Huntsville, there haven't been as many people going to them. I don't know what the issue is. Have we reached a point where the economy is so bad that people don't even have extra money to yard sales? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I picked up a pallet that I'm picking up. I didn't pick up the pallet. I bought the pallet, and of course, looking at this manifest, I paid $300. And in this, I'm trying to find it real quick. It had an Apple AirPods. I'm trying to find it here. Here it is. And this manifest, an iRobot Roomba i5, a Shark IQ robot with the self-empty base, Cuisinart food processor for mincing, dicing, a Ninja Creamy. Anybody knows what that is? That's one of the little ice cream makers.
Hey, so can I tell you one thing I found?
Yeah.
Has anybody ever seen the Cuisinart makes? It's called an Ice 100. So this thing is, I mean, it's huge and it's heavy as a lead brick. And I'm like, this is an ice cream maker. Why is it so heavy? And I flipped it over, looked at the model number, and it sells for $150 to $175. It actually freezes the container and makes it all together. The Ninja Creamy, we've got one. You've got to freeze those containers because the machine won't do it.
Right.
This was at a churchyard sale where nobody knew what it was. The lady goes, "What is that thing?" I'm like, "It's an ice cream maker." So I gave them the $5 they wanted for it.
Yeah, there's 2 of those in this lot. 2 Creamies, some AirPods, 3rd generation, a Ninja Food Smart. Never seen one of those. Nespresso Virtuo Plus, Braun multi-serve coffee maker. I mean, it just goes on and on.
That sounds like something I would love to have. That's a great lot.
There's at least, I haven't read but half of it, and you get the whole lot for $300. Now, I'd say 75% is working condition. It may be a little used. Some might be brand new looking, and the other 25% you could still part out. There's people that are missing. That's a great thing about appliances. People are missing like pieces, or maybe something broke, right? You can sell it and someone will just buy it right up.
So I think you have an opportunity if you show some of your process, because I don't think people understand that if you don't take care of that 25% and don't part that out, you lose a lot of your profit. It's the extras that you do to squeeze out more money out of you. You're already there. You're already dealing with it. Yeah. It's not disassembling parts and labeling parts. It's just not that difficult. And most people are act like there's Most people, a couple of screws or a screwdriver will take a lot of things apart, and you can get things off. I mean, it's a little effort.
Yeah, I had a opened a box, didn't know what was in there. It was an iRobot Brava M6 jet robot sweeper. That's the mopper, and it had the front bumper was broken on it.
Mm-hmm.
The wheels were good, so you pull the wheels, and all you got to do is get in there with that screwdriver, start taking out the screws. I have some pretty strong magnets that'll grab the screws so they don't go flying anywhere, and you pull everything out. And in this particular case, unlike the iRobot vacuums where you just pull the plugs out, there's plugs plugged in. These are almost like hardwired into one location, and everything is kind of waterproof. So you have to just cut the wires, and that's how they're selling them on eBay. And there's more than likely $300 worth of parts that I pulled out. Now, most people would have just thrown it away.
It's about printer. I think I don't know if I told people Wednesday, but I had a big printer. And it ended up being the printer head was jammed so bad that it would not print. It wouldn't move or anything, so I couldn't even get that off. And so I took the 3 paper trays out. There was there's 2 paper trays and then a feed tray. They're worth $50 to $60 a tray. So that $5 printer, I threw the big part of the printer away and just kept. Even if you're not technical at all, you can take those 3 trays out. There's nothing to pulling a tray out; it just comes straight out. So anybody can do that.
Right. And so, when you're looking at stuff, don't just look at it as, oh, well, this is broken. Even at $2 at a yard sale, I can't use it. Look further than that. See if there's anything that you can part out. And know your ability. If you're not good with a screwdriver, if you don't know what you're doing with wires, then maybe that's not something that you would want to do. But if you have experience with doing that kind of thing, look beyond the fact that maybe there's a broken bumper on this robot vacuum. There's internal parts that people are looking for and not able to find really anywhere else but on eBay.
So I picked up I was at the church yard sale. Right in front of that ice cream maker was the top of a food processor for a Cuisinart. And I asked Leigh, I'm like, y'all have the base for this thing? She goes, no, that's all we've got. I'm like, all right, so what you want for it? She goes, you would really want that without the base? I'm like, sure. She goes, $2. It had 2 blades, the silver disc, the cup, and the lid. I'm like, that for that Cuisinart, I'm gonna get $40 to $60 out of that $2. How many people at 3 o'clock had walked by that thing and never even asked a question about it? And I'm like, those are great parts.
So Major Win asks a very, very good question that I think a lot of people are asking. They're just tired of the effort not matching the results. And I got to tell you, it kind of boils back to this. Not in all cases. I know I don't want to get people mad at me. There's no need for that. But we're talking about things right now that people need. Look, they can buy a new food processor, right? The Cuisinart food processor. What does that food processor run? About $200 or $300?
They're at least the upper 100s. So, okay.
Or they can go on, and he's probably going to have that part up on eBay for $20. They already have one. Maybe it's an older one, missing the lid. They find it on eBay. They get the sale. Okay. That's going to save them a couple $100 buying a new one. I think that's kind of the mindset people are in right now. We're talking, I actually read a report. I don't know exactly where, but people are actually going to like Costco and Sam's Club right now. Like their neighbors are going together and they're going in on bulk lots of like meat and groceries and splitting it up. I haven't heard of that before, but people are doing that right now. People are trying to get by and they just don't have the money to buy a new food processor, right? But I'd like to have my food processor working. I'm going to go and buy Beard's parts. So maybe for right now, search for things that are going to fulfill a need for somebody. That's what
our message is not to tell you your business model's bad.
Right.
We're just saying, hey, maybe you augment what you're doing so that add some different things to your even if you have to start we're both we both like pre-bones, man. Primo decided that, you know what, he took a month to tear his store apart and to split it up into 3 stores, and he's still thinking maybe doing a 4th store and making it very specific to take advantage of the fact that some things sell faster than others, and so he doesn't want to drag everything down with a big store. Um, there's it, I agree with John. I'm not saying don't do what you're doing, but I'm saying, read the room and understand what's going on. And it's, how much clothes and stuff do people need? How much, people always need clothes, and there's going to be a market for it. But there's also, you have an advantage right now of understanding the used market and parts and those kind of things. And it's underserved right now.
George Theophanopoulos. See, I didn't think I was going to get that one. We have been selling for 20 years on eBay, and July 2024 has been one of, if not the worst month in sales. And a lot of people are saying that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can attribute that to a number of things. I'm a firm believer in the summer slowdown. It affects a lot of categories, and not in a good way. And then you're also looking at a slower economy for a lot of folks. Sidekick Comics. Go ahead.
A lot of uncertainty in the economy. It's not just slow. It's not.
There is.
And that's the combination that's got people. And I mean, I'm concerned as well that not only is everything more expensive and the economy is slowing, but then the uncertainty of what's going to happen in the next few months I think is really, the nation's on edge right now about what's going to happen and what you see, all these layoffs and everything's happening. All these businesses are closing, and you would think Walgreens and some of those would be safe. Walgreens is closing 2,000.
Yeah. Sidekick Comics is with us. Retired eBay seller. Golf 2 to 3 times a week. Do you play golf?
Me?
Yeah.
So I saw some golf clubs today. The guy wanted $500 for them. They were titled as AP3s.
Not at a yard sale. That's a little too much.
That's what they were selling for on Amazon, on eBay. I'm like, dude, go away. Nobody's gonna pay that for those.
Just ask him what his return policy is. G Gazara says, "Hey John, thanks for being here. We have Short Coin. That's Devon. Thanks for being here. Major Wayne, you guys are definitely better than Jimmy Kimmel."
But yes, I do play at golf. I spend a lot of time in the trees and at the beach and.
Oh yeah. I hit a drive over this last weekend. Hit it into the trees. We found it. There was a tree that was dead that was laying down, and I, of course, couldn't play the ball, but it's still my ball. I'm going to go get it, and I almost killed myself trying to get over this damn tree. We got it out, but I ended up I was a bloody mess on my leg and everything. It was not a good day. That was on Saturday. Short Coin, Devon, sales are great. Beginning of the new week, now crickets. Well, just keep moving. You know what? Whenever I have bad sales days, it gets me motivated to get out there and keep listing. Great days, bad days get me more motivated than just average days for some reason. And on a bad day, I'm just saying, you know what? At some point, these are going to sell, and I'm just going to build my store up. And when the sales come back, maybe there's this theory that has been said for at least a good couple of years about being on a bad server. Maybe you're on a bad server. I don't know. And then Sidekick is going to go play some golf. That sounds fun. I'd love to do that. It's just so hot out here. He sells seashells. I got that right this time. I had automatic offers being sent out on items being watched. Had no idea how that happened. Called eBay. They said 24 hours it will be fixed. That's not good. Because for me, I might give an offer 10% off of one item. I might go more aggressive on another. And I hate to know that's happening behind the scenes, and that's just a glitch. I mean, what happens if you make a sale you don't want to make? Patty Johnson, thanks for being here, Patty. Nice to see you. Hello, all. Curious Collection, got to call it a night. 11:30 on Gulf Coast, and need to be up at 6. Good night, everyone. Well, thank you for being here. Nice to see you. We've got Pete, the GOAT, 3 business, 80 hours a week for 25 years. I love it. That's how my brain is wired. I can't stop. Is it healthy? I don't know. I think your brain is sharp.
Hey, so I was thumbing through Facebook a few minutes ago, Pete. Man, 30 years ago, you were a young looking cat. He had a picture of him and his lovely bride. It must be 30-year anniversary. We just celebrated 33 last week, but yeah, I'm like, is that really Pete? Damn, he look young.
You know what? Can you imagine working in a location where people just bring in anything, right? And you are learning on the fly on a lot of things that people are bringing in that you may not even have tried to sell before. I really commend that. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And you see, okay, so you see something that might sell on eBay. Well, how do you know it's something worth buying in your store? You know,
And everybody sees Pete who he is now. When I first started watching Pete years ago, Pete was in dumpsters. Pete was a wild man.
he was getting boxes out of the dumpster. I remember seeing that video. John Worldwide Weber says, just got done with work. You know what? I am pretty much done tonight with work. I am going to, after the live here, I'm going to be diving in to work on my stream deck and to try to get some things ready for tomorrow's live.
I bought an Amazon return stream deck, some kind of stream. It was like $6. I'm like, you know what? I'll mess with this, see what happens.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's more than just, hitting a button and making a sound. You can do all kind of, it's basically a way to program like hotkeys and shortcuts into a device where you just push a button and you're not clicking around, right?
This one's more like microphone controls and stuff. So like for a podcast, I'm like, I've got a $250 Shure microphone out there. I'm like, you know what? Since it's not selling, I'm gonna plug it in and see how good it sounds.
Sounds pretty good. But you have the Blue Yeti, right?
Yeah, I have the Blue Yeti.
I think it sounds just fine. Josh has just unboxed an eBay order that was packed with used Dr. Scholl's shoe inserts. That's gross. That is pretty gross. But it doesn't take, I think Beard has the best one. The one where you bought your paper tape machine.
Ceiling tiles and bed sheets.
I mean, you got to be, you could do better than that. I mean, maybe you just wanted to get rid of the bed sheets so that you could say to your wife or your husband, hey, we need new sheets. Maybe they're not into buying a new set. So you just throw them in the box and pack the box so that you can get a new set. But it's pretty low to do that. I mean, I don't know. Patty Johnson says vacuums are like toilet shoes and toilet seats. They get dirty. I buy new. Toilet shoes? What are toilet shoes? We got the Crazy Card says, hey guys, thanks for being here. Big Dre found a Kirby Vacuum 100th anniversary Avalor with the sealed box of parts for $50. Comps are $700, but I think I'll keep it. Won't ever need another vacuum. Those Kirby's will last a lifetime, but they're just too heavy. We had one, and we never used it. It just sat forever until I sold the parts. Kind of parted it out. Disgruntled Octopus is with us, says going back to the future to start from the beginning. And we'll still be on yesterday, and you will be on tomorrow. So nice to see you. Devon loves your accent. He says, I found a seashell candle today. Watch out for these. Kent will go to a meetup. I'll be listing and winning. I think that is the thing to do. If you go out on the road, and I think you used to do this with your Amazon stuff. You go out, get what you're looking for, go back to the hotel, get it listed, right?
Correct.
Or just make
and then so basically not get it listed, but get it processed for FBA so that the next morning just drop it off at UPS on.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in, like, I know what I'm getting with these lots, these liquidation lots. So I'll go in and I will create a draft for each and every one of these items, not knowing the condition. I'll fill that out later, but I'm making drafts to get 75% of the information in there. And then once I get the photos done, evaluate the item, I'll come back and update the listing and put the condition and update the price, either raise the price or lower the price. I'll kind of put a median price in there in the meantime. But it saves, if you do things in batches. So you do your photos in batches, right? So maybe you have 10 items that you're listing and you get all the photos done, right? You go on to the next step for that. I think it helps quite a bit.
So you could do some of this stuff. So you could, if you were in a hotel, so like doing the 127, and we're going to do it, say like um, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and you wanted to get a head start and build drafts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just you can't say you're here, I'm here. We all use the same program where we'll take backgrounds out. You could drag stuff into a hotel. Say put a box to the side and then fill that box up, and that's the box I'm going to process tonight. You know what I mean? You could make it and take a few minutes and take your pictures, and you could easily, because photo room would allow you to pull the backgrounds out no matter where you take a picture, and you could get a head start on listing. And I mean, because remember, what are you going to do? You're going to stop and get a hotel wherever you're at, and then it's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You're going to eat dinner, and now you've got 6 to 10, 11, whatever it is. I mean, you could be very efficient and pick up those because and that's where I was very good, because when I was on the road, I had no distractions. There was nobody with me. It was just me. You get bored, and so you just power through a hotel. And I think people don't think outside the box that they can do eBay like that as well.
That's how I do it. In fact, I'm like 90% sure we're doing the 127 next year. And if it's 2 or 3 days or whatever it is, every night I will be doing something, whether it's taking photos, maybe even bring the little scale, maybe bring a little kitchen scale that goes up to like 50 pounds, because most of the stuff you're buying is not going to be that heavy anyway. And get your, maybe bring a tape measure and just put all the information in your listing so that when you get home, you're pretty much, for the most part, done. Big Dre says, I also started a new sourcing route last week that includes 3 different thrift shops, 2 antique malls, plus a Ross. And so for me, I always know that is something that I can get in there and do if I need to, thrift stores and the like. But I just like yard sales. If the weather changed tomorrow or this weekend and a bunch of yard sales popped up, I'm not so sure I need to go. I have so many things right now that I have to list. I just don't know if I would go. But something like the 127, just for the experience, I'm there.
So remember the one thing: don't get rid of the fun. So if you're a person that loves yard sales like me, enjoy the ride. It's there.
Right. No, I agree with you on that. Samantha Hunter's with us. What gives? Just had a wild hair. Thought I'd get on here, and 70 people this late at night. I can't believe it. Let's see. We have Ellen grew up in Atlanta, not Huntsville. He bought 3 books today from Savers, got home, and each one was signed by the author. That's good stuff.
There were plenty of books out there. There were tons of books on these groups. I didn't see her. I saw nobody. That's a great opportunity. I saw nobody scanning books or those kind of things. So if it's an easy way to break into Amazon is by books. Almost every yard sale and everything, there were books everywhere, and nobody paid any attention to them whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Just to me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Taking all the time to scan those books, especially when you have all the other yard sales. For me, it's like if I'm dealing with like the 127, like you're dealing with, and I know that I only have so much time in a day to get to all these yard sales. I'm going through, I might even be doing drive-bys. How many of these yard sales do you just drive by, take a look, and then just keep going? Or do you stop at all of them?
Well, there were a lot of them that had a lot of clothes, and so I know I'm not a clothes person, and that's nothing that I'm looking for. So I drove by if they were majority clothes or were heavy vendor based. If it was in somebody's front yard and maybe it was a vendor or whatever, I stopped at those just because they were better than the average ones. But I drove by quite a few.
Becky Ann says the 127 yard sale runs through my town in Ohio. I'm going tomorrow. I would definitely go if you're in the area. I think it sounds like a great time. It's something that it's on my bucket list. Let me put it that way. Samantha says, "Oh man, for the last 10 years, I missed the 127 yard mile. Maybe 2025. Boohoo." I don't think it's 127 miles. I think it's just
it's the highway. It's highway 127.
Yeah. Melissa Plummer says, "Hey John, have learned so much from you guys. Thank you for what you do." Well, thank you for jumping on and letting us know that.
It's 600 miles.
Yeah, it would take you. You couldn't do it. You couldn't one into the other within that 4-day period. It just
you just couldn't.
I mean, you're gonna be skipping a lot, right? You're gonna be like me in the comments. You're gonna be skipping a lot, right?
Well, just think about it. You've got a minimum of 10 hours straight driving on country roads. Minimum.
Melissa says, "I was up watching Josh Galt at 12:30 the other night. Love me some YouTube. If it wasn't for YouTube, I would not have stuck with eBay this long." Yeah, I mean, because without YouTube, you're going to be on eBay Island, especially if you don't have people around you in your community that do the same thing that you do. I mean, I've already met him through
You
YouTube.
can attack folks, so you just got to think outside the box. So if you've got a scanner on these phones and use the correct, like Scout IQ or something that really allows you to scan fast, and brought somebody with you, 2 people could scan through books. I mean, don't be discouraged and don't accept no for an answer. And I think too many people in this business don't think around and think through things and just go, well, it's probably not possible.
What do you think about this right here? Do you think they're going to start printing more money? I hope not.
I think they're going to start lowering the rates because they have to do something because the economy is they're going to be the number 1 or number 2 issue depending on whether that or the border. They're going to try to push it to make it. They're going to try to push it to make it where they did last time. It's abortion, but it's really the economy and the border, and they're hand in hand, folks. If you can't see that, but one side will tell you, oh, it's not so bad. We really need the low cost wages. You're killing the American economy by taking out jobs. You just are.
Killer Corn, drink beer, smoke weed, shout outs. That's Beards Live on Friday nights.
Yeah, that's the conspiracy channel.
Southern Vermont Vintage is with us. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. John Doe says, "I jumped out of my comfort zone today and bought some dishes because they said silver on them. Turns out I'll probably get at least $400 in profit." Silver. I know there's some things you look for on the bottom of plates, but to me, it's this bottom line is going on to Google, right? So if you find a certain item, I don't care if it's a plate or whatever it is, I'm taking photos of that in Google Lens just to identify what it is. And chances are one of these sites like eBay might have it on there and show me a price.
And Google Lens is so good. It really has changed the game. If you're out there, I use it quite a bit today. It's easier than trying to figure out a lot of model numbers and stuff. Google Lens is so good.
And Andy Sameta, Island, eBay Island. eBay Island is that island where you're stuck. It's sort of like being Tom Hanks, right? You're on that island and there's no one to talk to, and you're just kind of pressing, you're plugging away. And I think without dealing or even watching on YouTube or dealing with other friends that go through the same things that you're going through, you're going to get burnt out a lot faster, I think. Just my opinion. Midwest Picker says Fed Chair head Jerome Powell hinted of lowering rates. Yes, I think they said something like it's a 90% possibility that they're going to lower rates in September. Josh says electroplated silver, EPNS is electroplated nickel silver. Avoid all silver plated stuff. Well, avoid all nickel plated stuff as EPS, but I'm sure that it said silver on it for his plates, but not any of those acronyms. But to me, if I'm seeing on eBay that the comps are $400, I'm still buying it. Ellen, close the border. That ain't happening anytime soon.
Yeah, I didn't spend a lot of time, and that's the other thing with these long yard sales is you got to take some time to scan stuff that's out of your wheelhouse. But if it's really bad out of you, like I didn't deal with. I know people think glass is so popular right now, which is I don't see that and you see it on YouTube, but you don't see it in real life. So I didn't spend a lot of time with glass today. There was more cast iron out there than I've ever seen in my entire life. I didn't look at any of it just because I know some cast iron has value, but the people that are selling it out there know what. I'm not going to beat them at that game.
What about for your auction house? You wouldn't buy for that?
when you look at somebody who's got 20 or 30 pieces of cast iron, you know they know what they've got. I didn't bother with a lot of that. Yeah, I limited, and that's how I was able to get 50 miles. You know, you limit some of the things you look at. But like I said, I bought a nail dryer. Look, I don't have any nails. I bought something else that was
A hair dryer.
did not buy a hair dryer this time, but I did buy two of the things at the thrift store because watching J Rod, unfortunately.
John Doe doesn't check prices online when he's out. He likes to challenge and risk. It doesn't recommend that for all, as he is not full time. You know, if you know what you're looking at, you don't necessarily have to pull it up to see what the value is, right? If you've recently sold it or you have it in your store. But I think a lot of times we're walking by things and we're oblivious to the price, right? We don't even know what it's really worth. Mm-hmm. And if we just take a moment to scan it and see what it's worth, look it up you have your Terapeak, which is product research. Should be on everyone's app by now. And you can also use the old fashioned way, which is looking it up, either type in the UPC or type in the name of it and do a 90-day sold search on that.
Yeah, it's so fast too. You know what I mean? It's. I don't see any reason not to. I mean, every now and then Siri gets it right when I use voice to text or voice on there, but it happens so fast. The translation on these phones, it's going to get even better. The Samsungs have some AI built in, but a lot of that stuff is really coming in. The iPhones, especially, are going to finally start catching up a little bit. They're going to get so much better at doing things.
You're seeing a lot of apps with AI. I think a lot of these phones are going to it's going to be integrated into the operating systems where AI is going to do more things for you. Maybe it's going to pick up on patterns and try to do a lot of those things, automate those things. I'm not sure I want a phone like that, but.
So one of the interesting things I opted on, and I use Google Chrome on the iPhone, and you can opt into their, whatever it is, their chat search, or so the first answer instead of a summary, a lot of times is now formulated by the chat and their experimental one. Yeah, and it's been very, very good so far. I like the way it presents information better than getting sponsored listings.
Yeah. Well, Jovial's with us. Happy International Clown Week. Am I at the right place? You might be. Hopefully summer's doing well for you there on the East Coast.
Yeah, the label maker was an ID Pro, and the nail dryer was a CDM, something.
Andy Summit, just have AI do everything for you. I'm sure you mean Google Vision API to eBay. Boom. You know what? You think that eBay, they're so heavy into AI that they would develop a way to utilize AI to help the listing process. So, when they first came out with item specifics, right? My thought was something along those lines that, okay, it's going to take us a year, maybe two, of everyone entering in item specifics. And I did know about AI. I mean, AI has kind of come to the scene here the last couple of years, but I thought that they were going to utilize it in such a way where in the background it was learning. So now we post an item, things automatically populate, right? And then we can override those if we want. That's where they need to take AI. They need to take AI out of our search and put it into the listing process and really fix that part of it. I think a lot of people are turned off by all the steps that have to be made by listing an item. Look at Poshmark. You look at Mercari. It's like half the steps that you have to take to make a listing. So that's where eBay needs to go with that. Brief to See Forever 100. Thanks for being here. John Doe, your view on the new eBay Sport Cards lister will be a game changer if they expand it and if it works. So for me, if I was to get into a hobby, if I had the time, which I don't, but I was just thinking about this earlier today. If I was to get into a hobby, I think I'd get into sports cards. I would start buy boxes and open them up and collect the old fashioned way. But as far as knowing like what eBay is doing with sports cards, I'm just oblivious to it. I mean, you don't follow that, do you?
That was so 1989.
Yeah, I love it. I remember those memories as a kid, opening those packs, right?
I have a hobby. It's called reselling.
But there has to be one thing that you would do, and I had talked about this before you jumped on. If tomorrow someone deposited a couple million in your bank account, right? Now, you can argue if that's enough to live on the rest of your life or not, but would you not at least go do something, maybe do selling on a part-time basis and pursue a hobby?
I put Joni in an Uber, and I would do the 127 tomorrow. I've been going to yard sales my entire life. As long as I remember, my grandparents did it. My mother still carries on. My mother called just because she wanted to know what I found. I tried calling on the way home, and because I had a couple hours ride, and she didn't answer. But she called back. She's like, "Sorry, I missed your call. All right, I'm ready to hear everything you bought."
Southern Vermont Vintage loves that rust cast iron. One afternoon of time, and they're beautiful again. Good profits. No, anything that's heavy, I try to stay away from. You know, I know that I'm gonna have to ship whatever I have, so if it's really heavy, I try to. And I know big items, I still try to stay away from heavy stuff.
The heaviest thing I bought, $20. I got at a DeLonghi 330T espresso machine. It was $20, and I think I can get 130, 140 for it.
Yep, sounds about right. Well, Ellen, I can't talk about that one, but maybe Beard can. But no, I haven't.
I've seen it. I have not. I don't have any experience, but I don't cross list at the current moment. So, because eBay and Amazon don't cross list, but.
Well, you know what? We've been on here for about a good solid hour and 20 minutes or so. I was going to be on here for about an hour just to kind of.
Pete's got you one more comment.
Okay. Pete says just some real numbers. 18 million sellers on eBay in 2012. Profit was over 16 billion in 2023. Profit was 9 billion. Understand the game. It's not easy. It ain't easy, right? 18 million sellers on eBay. Profit was over 16 billion. So we've lost about what is that? Almost 50%.
And how many sellers do we have? I'm sure we've got way more sellers.
Do you think? I don't know if we do. Maybe because of the pandemic.
We got a pandemic sellers that came in for sure.
Yeah. But so you're dealing with fewer buyers, a smaller buyer base, and you're up against more competition. So I guess the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep doing the same thing that you're doing, getting the same results? Or are you going to try something different, knowing that you're up against a lot of competition? And eBay knows this, that you're up against a lot of competition. And I'm not a shill for eBay, but I'm telling you, if you're not promoting, your competition is, and they're going to get a foot up on you.
So Ellen says she loves your sense of humor. She must be talking to me because you don't have a sense of humor.
No, I really don't.
You didn't even ask me about my shirt yet.
I was going to ask you about Squatch, but I just couldn't find it.
Have you ever seen these shirts?
Did you get that did you buy a bar of soap and they sent you a shirt?
No, I got this for my birthday or something. So somebody's supposed to ask me about Squatch, you to do this.
I cannot unsee that. You know, people say that, Bigfoot or Sasquatch is like a figment of an imagination, but that chest right there, that's what I would envision like Sasquatch looking like. Huh?
That's awesome.
Andy wants to know where your nipples are. Oh boy. But that's, I think we're going to end it here. Thank you guys for being a part of this live last minute.
I've already blinded you. There we go.
I know that more than 2 people will show up, and thanks for jumping on here with me. But join us tomorrow at our normal time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Jenna will be here with us, and we're going to just have a good time. So I'm going to sign off. Making sales through a bad economy, there's a way to do it. Sales are out there. As Pete said, our buyer base is lower and we're dealing with a lot more competition. Your job is to figure that out, but figuring that out is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take care.